Welcome to the world of tomorrow! Good news, everyone! Today on Soda Speak, we're going to talk about the soda and the speaking. And if you don't like it, you can bite my shiny metal ass! Hi, I'm Billy West, and welcome to So to Speak. I'm Lyle Gronger. Welcome to So to Speak. Today I'm joined with my good friend Cody McDonald and David Eli. And we are going to... And we're going to talk about, we've talked a lot about The Simpsons. How many episodes have we done? Like 3?
We've done 4.
100?
You guys have done 4 Simpsons
We've done
episodes.
hundreds of hours of content about The Simpsons. So today I thought we'd do something different and talk about a show that we've actually just all recently gone into. Futurama.
Yes.
The second show created by Matt Groening between 1999 and, what was it, 2007?
2013 was like officially the
2013, that's right, because
Yeah.
they talked about 2012 and 2013 a lot, so,
Yeah.
wow. And there was a hiatus in between because, unfortunately, unlike The Simpsons, which just never seems to end, Futurama's been given the boot, so to speak, from executives.
Fun fact, it was actually one of the new episodes that was foreshadowing COVID, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when Fry gives everyone the flu?
Oh, right.
Common cold.
The common cold.
Oh, yeah, the common cold comes back. That's a funny one.
That was a pretty funny one, actually. Should we talk about the main group of characters first?
Yeah, let's talk about the Planet Express crew.
Yes.
Alright, well,
So,
who wants to go first?
first up we have the main character of the show, Philip J. Fry, a delivery boy from the 21st century, who always talks like this all the time. And then Cody, you were saying he almost felt like a riff on like the typical 90s like attitude.
The 90s attitude, but combined with the visual sort of appeal, well, not really appeal, just sort of his style, the same way James Dean was like in Rebel Without a Cause.
Well, he's dressed the same as him, yeah.
Which is exactly what Matt Groening said. Like that's exactly his costume.
Yeah,
his
and
wardrobe.
Yeah, and Billy West, the guy who voices him, he was kind of going... He was actually trying to imitate... Because he does talk a lot like Fry, actually. But what he was going for was he was trying to imitate the voice he had when he was 25 years old. So around the same time Fry was.
Right.
And he was trying to go for a Saturday morning vibe, but then he just thought his normal voice was just fine. And a common misconception that even he makes, he thought the character was named after the late Phil Hartman, who was on The Simpsons at the time. But what actually ended up happening was Matt Groening ended up naming the character after his own father, who was named Homer Philip Groening.
Oh.
So, he must really love his dad, eh? He named 2 of his main protagonists from both his series after his father. That's insane.
And funny, like both the main characters, their middle name starts with a J. Homer J. Simpson, Philip J. Fry.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Holy shit!
crap.
I didn't even realize that till now. Holy crap!
I still don't know. I still don't know what their middle names are. Like,
oh, the J in Homer stands for J A Y.
Yeah, it's just that.
J. Like
it's just
Jay Leno.
It's literally just J. That's the joke.
Oh, I see. So Jay Leno.
Jay
Leno.
That's the joke. Is J stands for J.
I'm actually.
I see what you mean. Oh, because even I still think this whole time he was saying just the first initial, but he was actually saying Jay,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually trying to look this up. This is annoying. It actually does not say what Fry's middle name is. It's just Philip J. Fry.
Let it be a mystery.
Yeah, it's just a mystery. I wouldn't be surprised if it's also J-A-Y.
And he has his eye on a certain somebody?
Yes. We gotta go to the captain.
Miss Taranga Leela.
Taranga Leela, yes. Captain of the Planet Express.
Captain of the Planet Express ship, the head pilot, at first she was believed to be an alien because she only had one eye, so we believe she was some sort of alien cyclops. But later on in the series, it was revealed that she actually comes from underground Earth in the sewers, along with all the sewer mutants.
Yeah, she's a sewer mutant, just like her family.
Yeah. The only reason she was left up in the surface is because out of all the mutants in history, she's the least mutated mutant in all the mutants.
She's the most
no extra anything, just one eye. Everything else is human.
Yeah, and she's very self-conscious about it.
And they draw her to look like quite a babe. I'll say that.
I gotta say, yeah.
She has quite the body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People fantasize about Marge. I'm 100% Leela.
I am with you on that.
Oh yeah, I love Leela.
Amen to that. But she also kicks ass.
Yeah, she is the most...
Oh, that's a good impression. Wow.
She's the only one on the goddamn crew who knows how to do her job. Well, except for Bender, he knows how to bend things, I guess.
Well, she's like the straight person out of the crew.
Yeah, but thankfully
she's loyal. She always follows orders. She knows what to do.
Exactly.
She's diplomatic for the most part.
No, that's sort of a problem sometimes. Like, because when people don't believe she can do something, she has to prove it so much that she has to go, even if it means going against orders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully she's a strong character, but she has like some insecurities as well, which is kind of nice. Sometimes characters are just kind of flat, but for a straight person, she's actually quite fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I love episodes of Sarah and Leela. And another interesting fact about the voice actress, Katie Sagal?
Katie Sagal, yeah.
Sagal, right. I always said Siegel, but no, it's Sagal. You probably know her best from Married with Children.
I know her best from...
Married with Children, Sons of Anarchy, and there was this other show where she's also a mom. Kelly Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory was in it. It was the show she did before Big Bang Theory.
8 Simple Rules for Married
with
Teenage Daughter? That was out the one. I never watched the show. I just know John Ritter was in it, and he passed away before they even got off the ground.
Yeah. Okay. I never watched any of those shows, actually. I just know like she was the main character in all of them. Like, she's known for a lot of good work.
Yeah.
Well, I know her famously playing Ellen Norwood in Lost. There's my name drop for the night.
Damn it.
There's my name drop for the night.
I'm gonna kill you, Cody.
More in the night.
But what's interesting is that with Katie Sagal, she actually wasn't the first choice for the role. They originally wanted to give it to Nicole Sullivan. If you watch, David, you ever watch Kim Possible?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nicole Sullivan is the voice of Shigo.
Oh, you know what's funny? Because the next character we mentioned is voiced by John DiMaggio, who voiced Draken.
So imagine a world where Dr. Dragon and Shigo, the same actors, are also in Futurama. Nicole, and she also does a very good
Shigo!
Shigo!
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I've watched the entire show, Veronica. I know how Draken talks.
Oh yeah, me too. I love that show.
But anyways, yeah, that's fine.
Like, you know what's funny? All the franchises, like the merchandise and all that stuff, that's for girls, sure. But the show itself, anyone can watch that.
Oh yeah. No, Kim Possible's great. I wish we could do a pop talk.
Hey, that's my show.
Cody, you need to watch this show. I swear to God, you'll love it. But
if you do, we could do a podcast of that one.
Yeah, and Veronica could join us. But so we should move on to B-E-N-D, Bender.
You know what's funny?
Bender's the name. Bending's my game.
You know what's funny? In the first episode, his first spoken words is "Bite my shiny metal ass." His catchphrase is his first line.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what Bart Simpson's first line is in The Simpsons?
Jingle bells,
bells,
Batman
smells,
just awkwardly singing Batman, Jingle Bells, Batman smells. That's so funny.
But that established his character too. He's a punk. But anyways, Bender.
No, you know something. Whenever I saw Futurama on TV, like I saw Bender, and I thought, is he supposed to be like a robot version of Homer?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people make that comparison.
That's the only thing I knew about the show before watching it. Was like, I knew there was a character named Bender, and he kind of looks like a robotic Homer Simpson.
And he's named after the punk from Breakfast Club too.
Yep.
And that's funny because that's where "Eat My Shorts" came from too. Because that's what he said to the principal. So that character inspired 2 characters from a Groening show. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Bender
is...
he's a Mexican robot. Even though I always forget that he's Mexican.
Me too.
Made in Mexico. Lid falls off. And his main purpose in life is to bend things, bend like girders and stuff. But he gets bored of that, so he just wants to kill all of humanity,
and
I guess.
He has to stay intact.
And drink.
He's
powered by alcohol.
He's powered by alcohol.
Hey, I don't need to drink. I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, obviously probably the biggest breakout character of the show, honestly. Definitely one of the most popular ones. And he's great.
That's debatable. There's also Zoidberg.
John Zoidberg!
I think
people are paying attention to me.
I think most.
Stop spraying me with ink, Zoidberg. Put on pants, Zoidberg. Don't touch your fancy box, Zoidberg.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy this fancy feast. Those potato chips that Amy left behind. Those are toenail clippings. A feast is a feast.
I think most of the comedy of Zoidberg, it's not about what he's saying, it's how he's saying it.
Well, yeah,
because literally he sounds exactly like if you just put your fingers against your mouth and he's like, "Oh, I have to talk my mouth all the time." Like he literally talks exactly how he looks.
Is this what human mating looks like? Because I like it.
You always have Zoidberg. You all have Zoidberg. I think Zoidberg's my favorite character in the entire show. Quite honestly.
But I don't even know who my favorite character would be.
Oh, maybe we could say that.
Zoidberg, why do you want to help Hermes so badly? And what's that catchy beat? I'll tell you 2 or 3. I was lonesome for my friend a minute ago. And yeah, we can get that.
Stick to someone else, you barnacle. Yes. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention Zoidberg's the doctor, I guess.
Yes, Dr. Zoidberg.
Doctor doesn't know a single damn thing about how humans work.
Wait, who's worse?
We need doctor. I'm a doctor.
Who's worse, Zoidberg or Dr. Nick?
Zoidberg at least has the excuse of being an alien, so maybe he doesn't know any better.
Who would you trust your life with if you were dying? And one of these doctors could say
in the early days, Zoidberg actually was a competent doctor, but he threw it all away, and I'm going to talk about that in one of my episodes. But yeah, he was a competent doctor at one point. I don't know what happened to him. He just got progressively worse at knowing how to take care of people. I don't know. At least Zoidberg's funny, and he does really gross. I love how every part of his body is based on some deep sea creature of the deep.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
He's basically supposed to be like an alien lobster, but there was an episode where they all kept growing younger and younger, and he went through all his collateral stages. There's an eel, a clam, a sea urchin, an anglerfish,
a coral.
Yes, coral. That was his last one.
Oh, that was just my brother. He fell in. Yeah, but we could talk about Zoidberg all day. I have plenty of episodes with him as the main focus, so we can move on to Hermes, the accountant. Also another person who probably could work for a better company, but just chooses to work at Planet Express.
Probably one of the more underdeveloped characters out of the crew. Like,
you think he's
underdeveloped? Who you agrees, man? Let's get to business.
I think between him and Amy, they really didn't have much to do at the beginning of the show, but they really fleshed out them all by the end.
I was gonna say they have enough episodes. I didn't get to mention it. Yeah. Oh yeah, we forgot. He's voiced by Phil Lamar, who you would know as Marvin from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah,
really?
The guy who gets his head shot off.
Oh my
god. Man, I don't even have an opinion.
You know what?
He became a very prolific voice actor.
That's hilarious. I can kind of hear it now. That's funny.
My man-witch. I like Hermes.
My man-witch.
If nothing else, it's just like, at least he loves what he does, even though what he does is incredibly boring.
I like his wife. His wife is
He's a bureaucrat.
What's her name? La Barbara. Husband.
I love her wife. His wife is great.
And his son, and the son, and then when they took over the company, Planet Express is now Awesome Express. You rotten kids! Will you be hiring? No, rotten kids.
My all-time favorite Hermes joke. It's the one where it's when Hermes requisitioned his groove. It's like when he gets fired. And it's like, wow, Hermes, you're taking this quite well. Don't worry, I have a plan. I'm going to jump! Do a flip! It's one of the first times I ever died laughing at Futurama.
I wish, guys, I have to say this, I wish I was a quote machine with Futurama, but I'm...
Stumping the town!
Yeah, David.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a newbie. I'm new to this show.
David's showing his true colors. He's got a lot of it down. I'm impressed. Well, let's move on from Hermes and talk about Amy Wong.
The forever intern.
I know, she was she's like the intern for Farnsworth. And the funny thing is that she never, gets the job.
She never gets promoted.
Well, she's rich. Her family basically owns Mars.
You gotta admit, out of all the crew members, Amy's the one who's, he seems like the least normal, if you think about it.
The least normal?
I mean, no, the most normal. So, most normal. Sorry, I was saying, least weird and most normal at the same time, so I got least normal. No, but she's like the most normal out of all of them.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's funny because her parents are rich. She works as an intern. Her family owns a planet, and it's like, well, maybe that's why she just doesn't bother getting promoted because she's kind of just set for life anyways.
Mm. Wait, so they own all of Mars?
I think so. Like the Wongs own the university. They own like huge plantations.
I know they own this like big ranch on Mars, but they own the whole planet.
They're very, very, very affluent. I think they might own the planet. I could be wrong, but I just know they live on Mars, and she's from there. She's a Chinese Martian.
A Chinese family owning a whole ranch on Mars.
They own like these ladybug things that kind of remind me of the stuff from Starship Troopers. And she also has like a very long relationship throughout the series with Kif Kroker. Amy, I'm sore. I need some acetaminophen. Aw, Kiffy, my ass does taste like cinnamon. Yeah, I think they're kind of a cute relationship, kind of an odd couple kind of thing, but when I don't think Amy's really like the typical dumb character. I think she's just kind of oblivious half the time.
Yeah.
She's in a position that she probably doesn't really need to be in, like a scientist's assistant. But, I don't know, she's still a fun character.
She's ambitious, but really doesn't add much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's cute.
And then there's the one who hired them all.
Professor Hubert Farnsworth.
Professor Hubert J. Farnsworth.
Fry's great
Crossfade. Great.
Yeah, just 10 minutes later. Great.
Oh my god. Yeah, so yeah. He's Fry's last living relative, and he's like this mad scientist. Freaking hilarious. Also kind of adorable at times.
Hey, Farnsworth. Professor Frink called. He wants his glasses back.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
But I like being old. I don't have to talk to my parents. No one asks me to help move their stuff. I don't have to understand today's edgy sitcom.
Yeah,
that's what I like about all everything feels so theatrical sometimes, like exaggerated. Really.
Yeah.
Like that's really like the charm of the dynamic between like everyone in the crew.
Yeah, no, everyone bounces off each other great. And it's kind of nice because it's just like, it's more like a workplace comedy at times.
And a lot of episodes, they imply so much like how weird things happen all the time, and it's just something that they're used to, and then that's just what they imply. That, you know what I mean? Like, like weird things happen, but they make it's kind of hard to explain.
No. They treat it blasé, despite the fact they're traveling all the way across space just to deliver packages. More often than not, it's like they don't even really care if they deliver the package or not because something else happens. It's just a way to get from point A to point B in most storylines. Oh god. Okay, but fellas, we really gotta keep going. We've talked enough about all the great characters of this show and how they bounce off each other. But I think, much like our Simpsons episode, is most prudent to go season by season. And by season, I mean we kind of screwed this up. It turns out that Disney Plus has rearranged a lot of the seasons in the show,
which I did not realize until a few days ago when you told me that. Actually,
yeah. So it's all
Yes. Yeah. Explain it to him.
Yeah. So basically, Disney Plus has the Futurama as 10 seasons. When really there's
because they split up into so. It's really supposed to be like 5 seasons and a few movies, but
actually it's 7 seasons and a few movies.
Right, 7 seasons, yeah.
But we didn't look at it like that, so I bet a lot of diehard fans are gonna look at us and think we're quacks. So according to the Disney Plus list, this is how we're gonna go down through the 10 seasons. Well, technically it's 9 seasons, and like season 6 is just all 4 direct-to-DVD movies.
What's so funny is when I saw it and I said, "Hey, 10 seasons, that's a great run." Hey, Simpsons, get on that!
We will talk. I will mention that later. But okay, so let's start with season 1. And I will. The order will be I'll go first, and then David, you'll go next, and then Cody will finish us off, and then we'll continue on from there. I'm gonna kind of cheat here. And I'm just going to say 2 episodes, and the only reason I'm doing that is because they're right back to back, and it's essentially just like a nice 40-minute pilot of the show. and that is Space Pilot 3000, as well as The Series Has Landed. So these episodes essentially kick off the series in a very, very strong foot.
Very strong foot. This is like one of the best pilots for a sitcom I've ever seen.
I will totally agree with you. Within the first episode, we established our four main characters: Fry, Bender, Leela, and Farnsworth. We get to learn a lot about how Fry was before the accident. And what's even amazing is that, I don't know if we should really go into spoilers or anything, but they actually do set up a lot in the first pilot, like the the shadow that appears when Fry falls into the freezer?
That's Nibbler.
That's Nibbler.
Yes. Nibbler, yeah.
They established it so early on.
Also, those alien spaceships that were destroying the city, that was
Bender.
Yeah.
That's amazing continuity.
I know. And that's what I love. One thing amazing about the first episode is that they go back to it so much, probably because they knew how strong it was.
That's how I know this off by heart. Pizza delivery for... Icy wiener? Ugh, crud!
Here's to another lousy millennium.
That's how I know that off by heart. They always go back to that moment.
Can I ask you guys something? How the hell did this cryogenic freezing plant survive an entire millennium?
That's the first thing I thought of, and then I said, fuck it, or else you don't have your show.
I know, but like, wouldn't there be a power failure? Or wouldn't the building be condemned?
Wouldn't the people working there be like, wait, who's this asshole in there with a beard and a dumb expression on his face?
He doesn't look like he belongs. He's not in the records. Maybe we should get him out so we can go see his family. Oh, wait. But then it's like...
He needs to go hang out with his dog. Oh, too soon.
Seymour.
Too soon. Too soon. We'll get to that.
Oh my god. And then we're introduced to Leela, who confesses that she's an alien who's just kind of working there to assign people jobs. And
in the future, everybody's assigned to jobs.
And he's like, I don't want to be a delivery boy.
Well, it's your job. It's your job to make people do what they want, whether you like it or not. And it's my job to make you do that, whether I like it or not. Which I do. Very, very much.
Ooh. That character didn't come back too many other times.
No, I think it's another time. Hello, Leela. You're fired.
Yeah, they don't go back to those chips either. They don't mention them anymore after the first episode. Like the job implants. You know? In the hands. Kind of like Logan's Run. But, then he stumbles into a bar and he stumbles into a phone booth, which is actually a suicide booth, which I guess exists. And that's how he meets Bender.
Would you like to have quick and painless or slow and suffering?
Take the Planet Express.
It's actually kind of crazy looking at Bender in the first episode, because his whole mission is that he realized that he was spending his entire existence building girders for suicide booths. So he wants to end his life by going into one of them. And he has like the quarter and the string trick. I don't really know if he actually wanted to die or what, but that was his motivation. Until Fry got him to be motivated enough to just do things and have his own free will. Well, it took a little electricity to do it too.
Yeah.
Like, I can bend anything! Ha! His arms fall off. Crap! And then it just so happens that they find out that Fry has only one last living relative, and that just happens to be the old frail Farnsworth. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into... We don't want to get into the plot of each episode, but it just does such a strong job of establishing how Fry ended up 1,000 years into the future. And it was great, and I love how they keep going back to it, because it is honestly like a solid pilot. Maybe even more solid than Simpsons Roasting on Open Fire.
Way better.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's way better. It actually establishes the premise really nice, the characters.
Also, is it the only time that we've ever seen Fry go through the tubes, like the pneumatic tube system of New York?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because
I know in the intro you can quickly see. Yeah. I know in the intro you can quickly see, like, Zoidberg and Amy, everybody just go by quickly, but
yeah, but we don't use them. They don't use them too often. I mean, you see other people use them, but we never see Planet Express use them too often.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good question. Like, has Fry ever gone through the tube since then?
I know Elon Musk wanted to build one of those things, like a pneumatic tube system.
He still wants to, actually.
Well, good luck with that.
It makes travel in LA a lot better. I mean, his ideas are there. Just execution, we'll see.
He's a little before his time, I think.
But the whole idea in the pilot is that Fry hates his life as a delivery boy in the year 1999. wakes up in a millennium later, thinks it's going to be a fresh start, and he's a delivery boy. It's hilarious.
And the best part is he's reluctant at first, but then as soon as he gets the job to drive a spaceship or whatever, he's like, "You'll be
alright! I'm a delivery boy!
I'm a delivery boy!"
Wait, do that again.
I'm a delivery boy!
That was good.
That's a really good... Wow, is that you?
It is me, yes.
That is a damn good impression.
I can imitate Fry pretty well, I will not lie.
Alright! I'm a delivery boy!
I think the only part of the episode I don't like is when he wakes up in the year 3000 and he looks out, he's like, "Oh no, my family, my girlfriend, everyone I know is gone. Woohoo!"
That was the first laugh I've ever gotten in the show.
Oh really? You like that?
I laughed at that. That's hilarious.
It is a subversion, I guess, but then later in the episode it kind of dawns on him that, yeah, everything I know is gone. But well, there's other episodes that touch on that too. I gotta get on to my next episode just quickly. So the series has landed, much like the pilot, does an excellent job establishing the remaining crew members of the Planet Express, such as Zoidberg, who asks for Fry to open his mouth.
He apparently he has teeth in the first few episodes.
Oh yeah, he does. That's right. "Young lady, I am an expert in human biology. Now open one of your mouths and suck. Blah, blah, blah."
And their first mission is to the moon.
Yeah, and Fry's so giddy to go to the moon, and he's just like...
And, okay.
One small step for man.
One giant step in the line.
I can't remember if it was this exact episode, but didn't they find like a Bart Simpson doll?
No. That was the trash episode.
It was that one, yeah. But still,
I like the part with the magnet where you put a magnet on Bender and it makes him go crazy. Like, oh no, not the magnet! No, yeah, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. I'll kill you, Amy.
She'll be coming around the mountain.
And Amy even has this like set up payoff where she has to get the keys that she left in a vending. She accidentally lost the keys in the box that they were supposed to deliver, and it ended up in the vending machine. And she has to spend the whole episode trying to get it, and that pays off because she uses the magnet much like a claw game. So that was kind of cool. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this episode other than that it just establishes the remaining crew, and it's fun seeing how to Fry's eyes going to the moon is like a rare experience they never thought in a million years he'd ever get to do, but to everyone else it's just a literal day at the park.
Yeah.
So it's boring to them but exciting for him. But okay, so I've taken up too much time. David, what is your first pick for season 1?
It's funny enough, like Lyle, you chose the first episode. Cody, you chose the second episode. Mine's the third episode. I Roommate.
Oh no, I picked the second episode.
Okay, well yeah. Either way, like so far we've done the first, second, and now it's the third episode, season 1. Mine's I Roommate.
Oh yeah, the one where Bender becomes a roommate. Yeah.
Yeah, and like yeah, because Fry's been staying at the professor's lab because he has no place to go, so he moves in with Bender at his apartment. The problem is the building's called Robot Arms Apartments, and like every room is just like a room that you just stand in.
It's like the size of a closet, yeah.
And so Fry needs a new apartment with Bender, so they try to find a new place, and they found the perfect place for themselves. The problem is Bender's antenna picks up the TV frequency, so no one's able to watch TV because
that's
they'll have satellite. Yeah, Bender's antenna picks up satellite. Anyways, so they all make him move back into his own apartment, but he misses Fry, so he eventually feels bad about it, so he cuts his antenna off just so he can live with Fry. But then Fry feels bad about it, so they move back into the Robot Arms apartment, and Bender shows him the closet, and the closet is actually so big. The closet's actually bigger than my apartment, actually.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, gee, humans sure are weird, or something like that.
You want to live in the closet? Eesh, I'll never understand you humans.
Were there a lot of episodes that
I'll never understand you. I'll never understand you humans.
Sorry,
what?
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, were there other episodes that kind of followed the dynamic between Fry and Bender? Because I think this might be like the best one.
There's quite a few of them, yeah.
They're best friends.
Yeah, they are best friends, and there are episodes where it's like they focus it. Like, I remember there's an Anthology of Interest episode where, like, Bender becomes a massive robot and Fry treats him like his, like, guardian or something.
I know we didn't choose those, but the Anthologies of Interest are, like...
They're really the Trios of Horrors.
They're the Trios of Horrors or the intergalactic commercials of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. They're just like a grab bag of interesting ideas.
Those are fun. Those are really fun.
What's this? 2 meals in 1 week?
It's funny. The Anthology of Interest kind of remind me of the Marvel's What If, you know?
Essentially, yeah. It's like they literally ask, like, what if I was more impulsive?
Yeah, like the outside of the box ideas of the show.
Yeah,
like a murdering impulsive.
And then they kind of went downhill once they just became like typical 3-part anthologies that didn't have any connective tissue. That's okay. Things don't last. Okay, so that's your episode, David. Cody, why don't you end us off with the last episode of season 1 that you liked?
Oh, I was gonna say this isn't the last.
This isn't the last episode. I almost picked the last episode, but I changed my mind.
All right, we're jumping ahead to episode 6 with a fishful of dollars.
The one where Fry waxes poetically about the 90s. I wonder why Cody from the 90s picked this episode.
I know, the symmetry here is insane.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Fry discovers that anchovies are completely extinct in the year 3000, and they're not a common pizza topping. And how does he find it again?
I think
he finds it in like a museum or something.
That's right. Yes. But he also found out that he has a bank account. He put 79 cents in it back in the year 1999, and the interest grew so much that it's worth millions of dollars.
Wouldn't he be pronounced dead though?
It could always still be in the account, just if the user doesn't close the account. It could always stay there. Unless there wasn't any sort of...
I guess he didn't have a will, so yeah.
If there wasn't any sort of will or a joint account with somebody else, then the money could have gone towards his family.
Anyway, so he has a lot of money.
Yeah. He has a lot of money. He spends it all on this fucking anchovy. And Mom is completely obsessed with this, so she hires her 3 sons to stock...
because anchovies create this oil that could be used as a renewable energy source or something valuable like that.
Yeah,
it's even cheaper than her fuel, so it's why she wants it so badly.
So she hires her 3 sons to stalk Fry to try to figure out where she can get all these anchovies. His bank account is the same price of a pizza and a Coke. I think it's $10.79 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a lot of money for... No, I don't think it's that. That's a lot of money for a slice and a Coke.
A slice and a Coke, that's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, for 10, I wouldn't pay that.
They do such a funny, elaborate way to try to get Fry to say his PIN number.
They recreate the entire thing.
They recreate, what's the pizzeria called again? I'm sorry.
Panucci?
Panucci's Pizza.
That's the one he works at, so I don't know if that's the same one.
That is the one. That's the same one.
Yeah, Panucci.
Come on already! Panucci's Pizza. Don't tip the delivery boy.
Hey, Fry, let's go! Come on!
It says on the box, don't tip the delivery boy. That's awful.
I hate my life.
That's awful.
So they get the head of Pamela Anderson to come in to have her have a cameo of saying I'd like to have a large pizza, or sorry, just a slice of pizza and a large Coke. How much will that be? And they're trying to get him. He's all dazed, right? He's all fucked up. I think he eventually says it or something like that.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. And
lay him on the side.
I forget how it concludes, but I just remember this one having such an elaborate premise.
The ending's actually the thing I remember the most. He eventually does use the anchovies. He doesn't sell it to Mom. He uses it and he puts it on a pizza and he feeds the entire person.
Zoidberg at first.
Yeah, Zoidberg comes in and goes,
okay, I have this
There is no more. There'll never be any more. More!
It's what is that heavenly stench? More. There aren't any more. There never will be. More.
Yeah, because wasn't it set up ahead of time that
Zoidberg's species is responsible for the extinction of anchovies.
Yeah.
They're addicted to it.
Wait. So Zoidberg's species is responsible for the extinction?
Of anchovies, yeah, because they go crazy for them. Caca
for anchovies. I see.
You know what I love about this episode? It's the episode that actually convinced me to try anchovy pizza for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And I actually enjoy it. It's not bad. I think more people should give it a try. I mean, it's salty, but it's pretty good. Especially with black olives. Try it with black olives and extra sauce. That's my go-to. But anyways, Fry's got taste. He's got a weird taste, and God bless him, and he's a little too wrapped up in the 90s, and I don't know how any of that stuff would exist 1,000 years later, but here we remain.
Yeah, it struck a chord with me, so...
Alright, so we're going to season 2?
Yeah, we'll go to season 2. So speaking of fast food, my next episode is The Problem with Poplars.
I love that episode. You know what's funny? Every time I watch that episode, I feel the need to have popcorn.
Popcorn chicken or popcorn shrimp or just popcorn?
Just popcorn.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess because the poplars remind me of popcorn chicken, and the popcorn chicken just has popcorn. Like it's kind of a weird thing, really, but it just that's how it is with me.
Yeah. So essentially, like the gang are on a mission. Bender didn't get any food, so they land on a distant planet that just so happens to have like a huge deposit of these like kind of like these balls of like meat or something, and they eat them
like popcorn chicken.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like breaded food or whatever, and so they eat them, and they apparently it's just so addictive that they just take a whole shitload of it back to Earth, and because it's so tasty and scrumptious, they
call them tasticles.
Yeah, tasticles. Yeah, that didn't stick. Yeah, and it's just like they sell them to like this fast food company, and they sell like hotcakes, and everyone's eating them. And it's not until Leela has like a few day old one that ends up hatching, and it turns out that they're eggs for a certain.
Hey, how's the song go again? Poplars are popping in your mouth.
And yeah. But when Leela finds out the horrifying truth that they are living beings, eggs no less, they try to have like a whole campaign to shut down, but it's too popular and it's too late. So the real problem comes in.
Hear me. Stop eating poplars. Stop eating them with honey mustard sauce. Stop eating them with honey mustard sauce.
And stop dipping them. Oh, and I can't forget the hippies. Like the guys are like, hey man, meat is murder. Living beings do not need to eat other living beings. We taught a lion how to eat tofu.
The point is, you shouldn't eat things that feel pain. Okay, we won't eat you.
Yeah, it's. Shut
up! Shut up! You shut up, sir. You shut up, sir.
Yeah, no, I love the episode because it's such a dig on both like the fast food consumerism, as well as the fact that people who like the protesters who ban people who eat meat, ultimately it's just a choice, so they're equally just as annoying. But it's all just like a nice little dig. And it ends up happening
it's noble that they want to save animals, but like sometimes they overdo it in real life,
Yeah, I don't know, like there's extremes on both ends of the spectrum, so that's what the episode satirizes so nicely. And I love how it turns out that all the poplars actually come from Lur, ruler of Omicron Persei 8. And
people of Earth, I am Lur of the planet Omicron Persei 8.
Yeah, but anyways, so he's gonna eat Leela because Leela was the one who started all of the massacre of their younglings. But then it turns out they try to do a bait and switch with a monkey, and then it all falls apart. But then eventually he just ends up eating the hippie guy. It's like, this can't be happening.
You know what's weird? Like they tried to switch it with the orangutan, but then the stupid hippie like points it out,
the hippie fucked
and then
it up.
They eat the orangutan anyway. Like hippie pointed out to save it the orangutan, but they eat the monkey anyway.
And it was never mentioned again. But I love when Lur eats the hippie and he gets high. It's like,
yeah, that hippie like must have a lot of weed on him if that made him high.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't
know. What's weird? The first time I saw that episode, I wasn't too familiar with weed, so the first time I saw that episode, like when he ate the hippie, I thought maybe the hippie was taking control of his body.
That's not a bad guess when you're a kid, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
The things you eat become you in the end. Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to get too much into it. I said my piece on the episode. It's just a very funny stab at like fast food and just like people are annoying sometimes when it comes to like the choice of eating meat.
Well, at the time it was very
especially like the part at the end of the episode where having all these like meat dishes Pastor Veal. Hey, invest in that snorkeling pig. Hey, who wants dolphin?
Yeah. And dolphins
are intelligent. Not this one.
Not this one. He kept biting me or something. I don't know. It was something along those lines.
Gambling trauma, apparently.
Yeah. And you know the episode actually won an award for like environmentalism or something. Like it's a writing. It was I forget the name of the award, but it was like something about like beneficiaries for environmentalism or something. So they actually, despite being like a critical analysis of environmentalism, it won an award on environmentalism. So you know it's clever, right? Right? Yeah. Anyways, David, what is your next episode?
My episode of season 2 is kind of a tie between Raging Bender and Mother's Day. So maybe we'll just go with Raging Bender. Yeah. So Raging Bender, Bender actually becomes a wrestler for the Ultimate Robot Fighting League, and turns out after his first victory, he found out that the fights were just fixed. The only reason he wins so much is because he's popular. Yeah. And in this corner, Bender the Offender. Yeah. So he wins like all these robot fights, but then his merchandise goes down a bit, starts to go down, and he becomes less popular. So they decide to make him lose the next round. And if he refuses, he's gonna make the next robot beat him to death. And then they decide to make him wear a tutu, like a ballet tutu, and yeah, just he loses popularity. But it's a good episode. I like how Leela trains him just to be like the ultimate robot fighter. And it's pretty funny. Oh, and there's also a side plot where a Hermes comes across these brain slug things that control your mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those. They were in the video game. Yes.
What video game?
There was a Futurama video game
for PlayStation
2. It was kind of like the Simpsons game or like the Family Guy game.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I need to play this.
It doesn't look like it aged too well, but I hear it's not too bad.
Yeah, is it a platformer?
Basically. Yeah.
Heyo.
Oh yeah, you and your platformers. But it's been a long time since I've seen that episode, David, so I don't really have too much to say about it.
I actually remember the Mother's Day one a little bit more than...
Yeah,
okay, so let's talk about the Mother's Day one. So, it's Mother's Day, and the way people celebrate Mother's Day is the robots celebrate Mother's Day for Mom, the one who created all the robots.
Yeah.
So they make donations or they buy gifts. Even Bender, he gets all these gifts from Mom, and what the crazy thing is, he didn't steal them. He bought them. He actually bought stuff.
What?
What'd you get at your mushy gizmo? No, I got her this card. Alright. What? How to go? Yeah. I love you, Mom, so I guess you're to blame. For the sounding just from hearing my name, you're something, and we're Miss Pastrami. Ding, 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 ding. I love my mommy.
Yeah, no, I love how insincere Mom is. At first, she has this facade of being this this kindred
Officially, it's I love every one of my robots. Unofficially, jerkwad robots make me sick to my ass.
You knew that the writers were gonna have to have Farnsworth and Mom in the saddle someday.
Yeah,
it's a given.
They have a long.
That was pretty much already revealed in the episode we mentioned from Fistful of Dollars, where she claims to be like a saint.
Oh
but
yes.
She's really just like an evil brute.
Well, no, but the history between Farnsworth and her.
That was something like a.
There's an episode where they're naked in a cabin together, and I can't unsee that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Professor, the fate of the world depends on you getting to second base with Mom. Very well. If Copperfield I must, then Copperfield I shall.
Copperfield I shall. Oh god, can you imagine if Larry David played Farnsworth?
That'd be great.
Be like, oh, Fry. Oh man, I can actually do the voice when I think of Larry David.
Bum, bum, bum.
Milk and coffee, what a drink! Anyways, sorry. That was it. Yeah, I like that episode. Is that the episode where she tries to take over the world?
What?
Mother's Day. That's the one where she tries to take over the world with robots, right?
Yeah, with the robots.
Yeah,
Conquer
that was a good
Earth,
one.
you conquer Earth, you bastards! Conquer Earth, us bastards!
Great. Yeah. No, I like that episode a lot, actually.
Yeah, that was good.
What's your episode, Cody?
The season 2 premiere, A Flight to Remember.
Oh, the Titanic parody. Yes.
I'm too predictable because I'm such a big Titanic fan. So yeah, obviously they're doing a whole play on a replica of the Titanic floating out into space. I like when you take an unsympathetic character at first, but throw him into like some sort of romance subplot. And that's what happens to Bender in this episode. Because it's so obvious and apparent where the plot is going to go. Like, when is the ship going to sink? Or, in this case, float away?
Actually, it did sink in a hole.
In a hole, yeah. In this case, it's going to get sucked into a black hole. So when is it going to happen? You know, like, it's honestly, when it happens, it's so late in the game that it's not, like, so, you know...
It's not like the movie where it's like the first half, second half.
What's also funny is that, like, when he was with that girl, what he really just cared about was the jewel she had, which is supposed to be like the heart of the ocean.
Yes. Exactly.
And yet, like when the girl about to die, it's like he gets the diamond, and it's like, well, at least I saw the diamond. What do you think it's worth?
It's a fake.
It's fake, man.
No! I like how they're doing the famous like drawing her nude scene, but it's like the inside sort of like formatics of a
the
robot.
Inside formatics
schematic. Sorry, schematic.
What's a thematic?
That's a fucking Cody word.
That's a thematic.
That's a Cody word. That's a Cody
thematic.
word.
You must have smoked some bad shit, hippie.
Are we making Beastie Boys songs? Oh.
Another 90s reference, yeah.
And they're in the show too.
And also not just the romance of Bender and forgetting her name right now, but
yeah, I don't know her name either.
But it's also Amy's parents are on board and need to have a date, or want Damie to show her. Sorry, I'm wording this wrong.
They want to assign her a date.
Yeah, they want to assign her a date, and it ends up being Fry, which makes Leela jealous. This is their first sort of ripples into their relationship that carries out, like, almost the whole show, really. Like, their romance is, like, blossomed at this point, where you're like, okay, they're not just, like, co-workers or friends. Like, there's romance. There's a thing here. That's another thing I appreciate about the episode.
Yeah, the problem is, like,
Fry's a lucky son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
Because Zap is on the ship, too. He tries to get with Leela again. But she pretends to be a Fry just to get him to back off.
Yeah. I love how you don't pick up on this when you just watch the show casually, but as soon as like Leela like pity fucks Zap Brannigan, I love how every time Zap Brannigan shows up, it's like, oh hey, it's that guy you slept with. It's like just that one time. What?
Who says it? Oh hey, it's a guy. Who said that?
Typically Bender. Sometimes someone else, but it's usually Bender.
Oh yeah, like, I remember part where they said Zap and I have some bad history. And Bender goes, was that before or after you slept with him?
Yeah, exactly. He always brings it up in conversation, even when it's not necessary.
See, it's kind of funny you brought that up, Lyle, about casually viewing, because that's sort of how I was viewing it the first time.
Yeah, me too.
But rewatching it, and I guess in this case for David, who's probably watched it a lot of times, Futurama prides in background humor.
And continuity, yeah.
And, especially background humor. Like, you honestly don't, you have to, like, your eyes have to sort of look away and look at the background sometimes, because there's gags that are going to, like, fly over your head if you blink. Mm-hmm. There's so many. It's rich. It's rich with layers, this show.
Yeah, no,
I really appreciate that.
Hey, nothing flies over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
Oh man, can you imagine a Futurama Guardians of the Galaxy crossover?
That'd be pretty good.
Oh god, that would be something.
Hey,
Disney, get on that.
Come on.
you own both properties.
Hey, I'm still waiting for wasn't there a crossover of Futurama and Rick and Morty?
I don't think so. There was one with the Simpsons.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll touch on that.
We're gonna touch on that later.
Yeah, very.
When Morty was driving and he killed the Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a catch.
That was the one. Yes.
Look at the baby Morty. Oh my god.
We're not talking about Rick and Morty, David. We'll do that another year.
Yeah, I'd love to. Join me.
Okay.
Join me. Maybe I'll do a pop talk on it.
Oh, there you go. We're giving you so many ideas that you can steal from us, Cody.
Yeah, no, that's all I gotta say. It was one of the more memorable ones.
You know, it's pretty ballsy. They parody a movie that came out like not too long ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So my pick for season 3 is Bending in the Wind. So remember how we established how anytime Bender gets hit with a magnet, he just starts singing folk songs? Well, it turns out he's always had a fantasy about being a famous folk singer. So this episode pursues that, where he gets accidentally mauled by a gigantic, cartoonish can opener. And he can't move his arms or legs. And he's all depressed.
Oh, that's the episode with Beck, right?
Yeah, and then I was just about to get to that. And he meets Beck, alternative rock, other genre guy, musician Beck. And honest to God, I love this episode primarily because of him. He's my favorite musical guest on the show.
That was actually Beck voicing himself, right?
Yeah, he does his own voice, yeah, and they play a few of his songs. And I love how the episode is basically both a celebration and kind of a mockery of him, and he just plays it entirely straight. He has his own, like, rhyming dictionary and dictionary for all the weird words he puts into his songs. Bender becomes a washboard for him, and during Where It's At, he's like, that was a washboard break. Where it's at. Yeah, and yeah, I know there's other music guests like Beastie Boys. They have a pretty memorable turn as well, but I like this one better. And I love how they placed his head. Oh yeah, we forgot. Every celebrity from our time is placed in a kind of like a terrarium. Yeah, just heads in the jar.
You know what's weird though? There have been some famous people like in the past, like they say, like all the celebrities, all the famous people are heads in a jar, but that even includes the ones that already died. Like for example, I remember seeing an episode with President Theodore Roosevelt's head in a jar, but he died
every president.
Yeah, Nixon is there. It's like he died in like long before the 1999.
Yeah, like how did that happen?
I don't fucking know. Who cares?
Even in the pilot, I noticed even Matt Groening was a head in the jar.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, but and they just place Beck's head on like a mannequin, and I love how Art Garfunkel's like long distant relative is still singing his songs like 1,000 years, like, and some change afterwards. It's like, this is a song my ancestor made famous. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. It's just like, I guess people would like that music in the year 3000. Why not? It's timeless, alright?
It would be classical music.
Classical music? What is this, a Destiny trailer? Oh, man. Anyways, yeah, I don't have too much. I will say, it is hilarious how, at the end of the episode where, like, Bender's, like, after losing all of his money and, like, being kicked out of the band, he still puts a magnet on his head, like, fry crack corn, I don't care. Little crack corn, I don't care. Better crack corn because he is great. Take that, you stupid corn. I can't do a Bender impression. It's my one Achilles heel. But anyways, David, what's your next pick?
Okay, well, mine is the Cyberhouse Rules. That's when Leela goes to her orphanage reunion, and she realized like how everyone was mean to her back in those days when they were kids because she had one eye. So she realized she had enough of it. So she decides to get surgery and gets two eyes instead.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so
also on a side note, Bender takes in all the orphans to raise them as his own, and
does a terrible job.
Yeah, that was funny, and he tries to take care of all the kids, and like he realized how hard it is, but he's doing it. He's doing it for the money. He's doing it just to get so much money, and yeah, all in all, it's just a funny episode, really.
She doesn't look good with two eyes.
Isn't that?
Yeah, I like it with one eye. You know,
that's so weird.
Well, that's sort of what she learns, like just to be happy with yourself. It's a timeless theme with anybody struggling with some sort of physical thing that they have a problem with on their body.
That makes me wonder, like, why does she look so unnatural with two eyes when everyone else has two eyes? Is it like her character design, like the ponytail and everything?
It's probably the design. It just
or are we
fits
just
well.
So accustomed to it? Like
it's probably a bit of both, actually.
Because it's weird when I look at Leela, I rarely ever notice. I'm rarely ever put off by the fact that she's a Cyclops.
Even when you see her in profile, the side of her face I'll just think, wow, she has 2 eyes. For some reason.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing with me too. Like I realized that also.
Yeah, it's almost like she has 2 eyes, but for some reason your brain's playing tricks on you.
But yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to it, which I don't know if that's based on her character design. I always loved the montage to Roy Orbison, like when she's like strutting her stuff because she's all happy she has 2 eyes now.
Yeah.
That was a good episode. Is there anything else you want to say about it, David, or is that about it?
No, I think it's about it.
Okay, Cody, what's your next episode?
I was gonna choose the episode Paradise Lost.
Oh wow!
Where Fry gets worms from eating that sandwich. Like, it's a good episode. It's fun.
That's one of the best episodes.
It is one of the best.
Abandoned ship! Abandoned ship!
But there's one episode that's not only better, but it's probably my top 3 favorite episodes of the whole show.
Luck of the Fryish?
Yes.
The
Luck of the Fryrish is a fucking
Holy
excellent episode.
shit.
So what this is about is that Fry finds out that his brother, what's his name again? I'm so sorry.
Yancey.
Yancey. He supposedly stole his identity and stole his seven-leaf clover.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to go through the plot so much. I don't want to like ruin it for anybody who's listening. But there's a great surprise at the end where you find out that like that his brother was essentially honoring Fry a little bit more than he thought.
Yeah.
And it's very touching. And The Breakfast Club and this has a very good use of "Don't You Forget About Me."
Great needle drop.
A great needle drop of that song.
Almost makes me rethink the song now. Now every time I hear that song, I think of Futurama instead of Breakfast Club.
That's funny. I think of both actually. They work so well.
Naturally, yeah. You do think of both, but now I think of Futurama more.
I think I'll bring this up more when I talk about my favorite from season 5. But like, I love the structure of this episode because it plays so well with time of just the uses of flashback at the exact same point. You get pieces of the information here from the past. You go back to the present, and then you go back to the past at like the right point.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. I'm all about structure and how you tell your story.
Well, there's a certain movie we're gonna talk about later that deals with that as well.
Yes.
And my season 10 pick also deals a lot with Fry's family, and I will drop my notes on his family when I get to that point.
But it's the first dose into flashbacking to his life prior towards.
Yeah, that's where we get more of a sense of his family life.
Exactly.
And how rough it was.
No, it's excellent. I think it's one of my top 3 favorite episodes, but we'll get to my favorite one eventually.
Alright, so my next pick is kind of a given. It's
we're in season 4, right?
Yes, season 4.
Yes, season 4.
I have picked Where No Fan Has Gone Before. The Star Trek episode.
The episode where Star Trek is discontinued and it's illegal to even talk about it.
Because it became a cult, yeah.
It became a cult. I am so surprised that they all supplied their voices for this episode.
Well, except for Scotty. He didn't show up.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah, he was the only one.
Okay.
Oh, wait, so why was it illegal to talk about Star Trek?
Because it got weird. Like, it became even more than just a fandom. It became like this massive religion that got overzealous. And I don't know if the government just got annoyed or something weird happened, and they just took all the stuff that pertained to Star Trek and shot it into space.
Jeez, and I think that The Simpsons predicts the future.
You know, I wonder if it was the same thing for Star Wars.
That's what I was gonna say. I think people say that Simpsons predicts the future. I think Futurama predicted this very well when it came to Star Wars, because now people are
Star Wars is a cult now.
They take it way too seriously now. Oh my god.
Well, it's only a matter of time before we all shoot that into space. Good luck fitting all those action figures into a module, guys.
or
try your best.
Shoot into space, or just shoot it into a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, you motherfucker!
What I like that Fry is literally just a straight up fanboy.
Well, yeah, because he was around that time, so he didn't know what Star Trek was before it got weird. And I just love, I love all the digs with all the people. Like, I love how the lady who plays Uhura is just like, yeah, and I'm regarded as a hero. I mean, I had to kiss Shatner, and Shatner's like, And
wait, so was it all the original cast members?
Yeah, mostly all of them. I think the only one who didn't return was Scotty, and they replaced him
because he died years ago, right?
Did he? Did he die before the episode came out?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Ooh, I don't know.
He died I think it was in the 90s or something like that.
Oh.
Hang on.
They replaced him with some guy called Welshie, who also got killed off pretty early on. Oh, that makes me sad now.
Oh, I can quote something. My favorite part in the episode when Leonard Nimoy was like, "Fry, you need to understand something."
Oh no. Okay, he died. He died in 2005. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he just wasn't available.
He was either unavailable, maybe he had health problems. I don't know. But yeah, and I love every scene with like Leonard Nimoy and oh god, why am I forgetting his name right now?
William Shatner.
William Shatner. Thank you. God, what's wrong with me? Every scene with them, because they were like best friends like for most of their lives, like, and they always like respected each other, and all their scenes together were just so fun to watch.
But you know the weird thing is, William didn't attend Leonard's funeral. Actually, the other cast members did, but William didn't.
Yeah, I heard about that controversy. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't.
I can't believe he's 90 years old and he looks great.
He's like, 90?
Oh wait, are they 80 or 90?
I don't think he's 90.
Well, speaking of that, those two, I was about to say my favorite line from the episode was when Leonard Nimoy was like to
Fry. He's William Shatner's 90 years old and he really doesn't look 90.
Oh my god, I didn't know he was that old. Holy crap.
Leonard Nimoy was like to Fry, you need to understand something. When I was directing The Voyage Home, I just respected Shatner as an actor and let him do his thing. And then Shatner's like, yes, and when I directed The Final Frontier, I respected myself as an actor and let me do my own thing. I'm like, yay!
That's really for you.
I love them being so self-aware of the movies, like of the kind of ego that Final Frontier had.
And the show, yeah.
Hey, it's like, you know, like what William said, like that was a joke, but like what Leonard was saying, it kind of represents like Spock's dying words: the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
I love it.
I Star Trek. I just know that scene because after he died, I watched the scene in Star Trek where Spock died.
Yeah.
Wait, he dies? No, I'm joking. I know it.
Oh, what? I love how Fry comes up to him when Leonard Nimoy is just a head in a jar. He's like, oh, hey, Leonard Nimoy. Hey, do the thing. Oh, I don't do that anymore. And they feed him.
Why not, pray tell?
So anytime Leonard Nimoy, he cameos in Futurama and The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And it's gold. It's gold and it's memorable. I like
it.
Even Big Bang Theory, he voiced. Well, he didn't actually make a physical appearance, but like, he voiced this action figure that Sheldon had.
That's great. And I love how the whole plot predicates on them. After all the Star Trek shit landed on some planet, there's like this gaseous creature who absorbed everything Star Trek, and he has all of the people now from the original cast, mostly all of them, and he's just like, oh great, now I can make my own fan fiction. And he possessively like makes them do all of his bidding, and they're all immortal. But then like he has a mother, and it's almost like he's some guy who lives in his basement. And he's just some giant nerd. I love it. It's great. But I also
he looks like that radioactive fart from Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Goodbye, Moon Man.
Goodbye, Moon Man.
Oh man, Cody, you're just pinching for a Rick and Morty episode now.
But I mean, I watched Futurama and I'm like, now I see where they got their inspiration from.
And my favorite gag is like when they're about to leave and they have to combine the engines and the life support system. It's like, oh man, we have too much weight. You guys are gonna have to lose some. And they just drop all their bodies.
All their bodies, yeah.
Because they all have bodies now. They're not just heads, but now they're back in jars. Wah, wah. But anyways, we've been on to this episode long enough. So, David, what's your next pick?
Yeah, so my episode for season 4 is Leela's Homeworld. Now, that is something that's a very important part of the whole series.
That's a good one. I like this
For a long time, for her whole life, Leela thought she was some sort of alien cyclops from another world. Well, in this episode, she finds out that she's actually from somewhere else. It all starts when a vendor starts disposing of all this toxic waste in the sewers.
Like you do.
The sewer mutants get angry and they abduct Bender, Leela, and Fry, and that's when these two mutants discover that Leela was in trouble. So they wait, guys. You think I should mention all this or not spoil it? Because like Cody didn't mention the part of Buck and Fry.
We don't have to get into all the semantics. If you just want to say like what you like most about the episode.
Okay, I just liked how Leela found out who she really was, and for anyone who sees this, like if they don't want to know what happens, then like you can find it for yourselves. But, like Leela finds out where she's really from, and you think should I just say it? You think? I want to.
Spoilers.
It's been long enough.
Spoilers.
Okay, fine. I won't. But yeah, like it's called Lila's Homeworld because she finds out who she really is and like she finds her real family. So yeah, that's one thing I like to because after that things are never the same. She finds out about her family.
It has a very sweet ending that kind of makes me tear up a little bit.
Yeah, like the song
indie
and
rock
everything.
song
Like, it's
and
a very.
They've always been around her, helping her out and guiding her and giving
Her
gifts.
parents have always been there for her.
Yeah, that's sweet.
For some reason, when you said this episode, I thought you were talking about the episode where she goes to that planet and finds that guy who's also Lila.
Oh God, no.
And they do a good dig on Peg Bundy where she dresses up just like her. And it's like, and he's also a slob.
Yeah, she's dressed as Katie Steigel's character from
Married with Children. Yeah, Peg. Oh no, Peg.
Sorry, if you're able to transform into any alien, why don't you transform into one thing that counts? Ooh!
Nice. Yeah, but I'm glad you picked that episode. That was a very good one.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the best Leela episode?
I would think so.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. I know you had a different one, but
oh yeah, I picked the Sting.
The Sting is still a good one.
Where Fry gets killed.
The bee. Yeah.
And Leela kind of almost like has a really big crisis of internal crisis. But anyways, yeah, Cody, what's your next pick?
Season 4. It was Roswell That Ends Well.
Oh god, this one makes me cringe.
And the Area 51 episode, go back in time. Yeah.
Oh man, a Back in Time episode. What?
Well, it will definitely not be the first one because anytime there's time travel.
Don't you mean it won't be the last?
I do like the part where they actually.
I'm tired. Shut up. Mom, shut up. I'm tired.
Time travel does that.
Yes, they travel back to Roswell, New Mexico. In the late 1940s, during the whole government paranoia, aliens, craze, all that, they mistaken Zoidberg as the alien, which I think is already a great little setup. But Farnsworth obviously tells Fry to not change anything. He runs into his grandfather.
Mm-hmm. That's not all he runs into.
He runs into his grandmother, and let's just say how do you say that? Causality loop.
Causality loop.
The causality loop, everything remained the same after he accidentally killed his grandfather because, let's just say
he's his own grandpa.
He's his own grandpa.
It seems funny, I know, but it really is so.
What?
Oh,
he's his own grandfather.
Wait, so the guy you saw was his grandfather, that was actually him?
No, so he accidentally...
Oh my god. So Fry accidentally got his grandfather killed, and then he fell in love with a woman and slept with her and impregnated her, but turned out to be his own grandmother. So that's how he came into existence.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
oh my...
I know. That's why I'm like reeling back here.
Wait, did you see this episode?
Oh my god.
You never seen this
episode? You never
episode?
Saw this episode?
I saw parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing. I do remember the part at the end of the episode where they leave Benzer Pine in the past, but then they remember his head was like in the desert somewhere. Like, Benzer, how was it being buried for 70 years? It was being buried for like 1,000 years. It was fine until you guys showed up.
It was fine until you all showed up.
Two things. I love how, despite how gross the concept of Fry doing his own grandma is, I love how it actually pays off later because he's kind of like a lapse in logic in time. His brain is actually immune to those giant brain creatures or whatever they are. And he's actually like immune to psychic attacks or whatever. Like I don't know. I sound like I'm talking about.
That's crazy. Like I've seen twin siblings make out with each other. I saw Stewie go back in time and kiss his own mother as a baby. But that is just crazy.
Yeah, no, it's gross. But the best, my favorite part of the episode.
At least the twins didn't know that they were related, so that's fine.
Okay, what are you talking about?
Luke and Leia.
Oh yeah. But my favorite part of the episode is at the end when Farnsworth just says "fuck it" and just flies the ship through the landing and blows everything up. It's like, Professor, what about all the time paradoxes? Who gives a damn? No, that was a great episode. Good choice. Sorry, good choice.
This is a good one. Oh, and shout out to Josh. I remember one time he mentioned that his favorite episode was a Leela of Her Own.
Yeah, the baseball one.
The baseball one, yeah. Which was not
Wait a
bad.
minute, I remember you. You're the scumbag who owns the Ultimate Robot Fighting League. Not anymore. Now I'm the scumbag who owns the Ultimate Blurnsball League.
Okay, so now season 5.
Oh boy, season
Oh my
5.
Lord.
I got 2 episodes. Like we can decide which one I'm gonna do.
Oh,
I had a hard time picking one too. I was stuck between 2 myself. So I was stuck between.
Season 5 has the best ones, doesn't it?
It is. I would say it is the best season.
I love season 4 and 5 equally.
Just like The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, kind of. Well, no, seasons 4 and 6 of The Simpsons are my favorite, but 5 is like runner up.
Okay. But I was stuck between Spanish Fry, which is the episode where Fry gets abducted by aliens and they steal his nose.
Yes, I remember that one.
And I the reason why I love that episode so much is because it was the first episode I actually decided, yes, this is my favorite episode of the Futurama, because I watched it on TV once and I just died laughing the entire time. But you know me and how much I love hyperlink cinema and storylines that interweave with each other throughout an entire narrative.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to choose 300 Big Boys from season 5.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my god. So basically what happens is Zap Brannigan successfully takes over a planet filled with valuable silks made by alien spiders or whatever. And it's all worth $1 trillion or something. So President Nixon decides to give everyone a tax rebate of about $300.
Yep, I remember.
He gives every citizen of the world $300.
Citizens of all Earthicans get $300.
Wasn't there like a
Knock yourselves out!
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't really get into every single plot detail. Basically, every single character does something with the money. And
Fry buys 100
Fry buys 100 cups of coffee. It's hilarious. He turns.
Go, come on, plop. Give me the
Oh
coffee,
boy, you seem a little tense, and you're all greasy.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just the coffee sounds good. Wait, what coffee is this? This is mint. Give me more coffee.
Give me more coffee. Yeah, and it pays off at the end. It pays off, yes. But I can't keep going. Okay, Leela wants to go ride a whale or something. The problem is Amy and Kith got like a flying bicycle just to spend have a nice date. And Amy spent hers on some tattoo that mocks Kith the entire time. And Kith also bought her a watch. The watch falls into the whale, so Leela uses the opportunity to get into the whale. They feed him
with a bunch of rotten fish.
They feed him with a bunch of rotten fish that they stole. And speaking of stealing, Bender wants to steal a really expensive cigar, and he does. And then Zoidberg. Okay, I'll talk about Zoidberg in the end. But then Hermes buys stilts for his little boy. It's like, oh, well, if you're not going to have fun, I'm going to have fun. Help me!
I spent nearly 300 bananas on these things. Now you put them on, you have fun. I don't want. Now I'm going to put them on, and you can watch me have fun. See? Fun, sure.
They run throughout the episode. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta keep going. So much shit in this episode. They feed all the rotten fish to the whale, and the whale throws up all over the place. And then,
Who's sad?
Hey, who wants a fish? And I die laughing every time I see the whale fight. I don't know if I'm 5 years old.
Goes like, hey, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a whale biologist.
I'm a whale biologist. I calls him like I sees him. Oh my god. Okay, my favorite part of the episode. I'm not going to talk about the ending, because the ending... Farnsworth buys stem cells that he slathers all over his face, and it makes him young for a day. And he dates like a punk girl, who also used her tax rebate to like make herself look better.
But then they both reveal themselves. The professor, wrinkled as a prune. The girl, fatter than the
queen of sea cows. Okay, but the best part of the episode for me is Zoidberg's journey, because Zoidberg just wants to feel rich, because despite being a doctor, he has no money and he lives in a goddamn dumpster. And then what happens is he's like, oh, I pay money and you'll give me just shiny rocks? So he hates jewelry. He goes to a fancy restaurant. I go to a fancy restaurant, you give me goose liver and fish eggs? And what can I say? Rich people eat the animals' garbage. The garbage part of the animals. And he's like, I bid you good day. And then he goes
he
to the
tries to go
museum.
golfing like the rich dudes do. And perhaps if you tightened your grip, sir. Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you. These eggs have no flavor. And he spits all the golf balls. And then the best part is he goes to a museum. He wants to buy the tapestry of silk. But he thinks...
One heart, please.
What may I buy? I can't even buy one measly masterpiece. And so, the best part of the heart of the episode is Zoidberg has more satisfaction spending his money feeding the homeless people next to the art museum that rejected them.
Which might have been like the best thing I ever could have seen Bender do. No, Zoidberg do.
Oh no, Zoidberg's a really heartfelt character. Like, he actually considers a lot of things, and he's very... He rarely does anything wrong. So much so that...
and no one likes him for... Everyone hates him for...
Everyone hates him, but it's weird. Both Mom and Robot Santa equally respect him. He's the only one that Robot Santa has ever given an actual gift to. I don't know if you remember that. That was in one of the later episodes. Anyways, so I think it's so nice that because Zoidberg was unsatisfied with the rich lifestyle, that he actually got to, like, help the homeless, and that gave him all the satisfaction he ever needed. And he got to feed his friends. Oh, and Bender got beat up by the cops for robbing the cigar. My story kind of petered out. I think I was supposed to learn something. It's like, there's the scumbag who stole a cigar. Let's kick his ass. Hey, closure! I'm sorry I kind of gave away most of the episode, but there's just so many things I had to talk about that it just drives me nuts. I just love stories. Essentially, this is like the Simpsons equivalent, the Futurama equivalent of
the
21...
Pulp Fiction episode, right?
No, the 21 short films about Springfield, which is also my favorite Simpsons episode. So it's funny that this one...
Does that whole episode reference Pulp Fiction, or just that one scene with the
kind of, it references Pulp Fiction. It actually has more to do narratively with the 90s film Slacker. Just how, like, storylines will start, stop, and then continue on to another storyline, usually with some transition in between.
There's a poster behind you, actually.
Yeah, I have a Pulp Fiction poster.
That movie is
one of our favorite movies. Yes.
Yeah, because that movie is like a bunch of different people, like, with different stories, right?
Those stories intertwining. Yes, I'm a huge fan of movies that do that, and I also love when episodes do that too. So that's why this one's my favorite in a long sea of episodes in season 5 that are so good that I picked this episode. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. David, what is your season 5 pick? Let's keep going, please. I'm gonna blow up. I've had too much coffee. What is your season?
2 episodes.
Okay.
One is the Farnsworth Paradox, and the other one is Teenage Mutant Leela Hurdles.
Oh, I love that episode.
Teenage Mutant, that's a good one.
I love that episode.
Leela Hurdles, that one?
Yeah, let's talk about do that one. Do that one,
They all
please.
become teenagers.
The crew gets fed up with the professor's ways because he's getting really old. So they try to take him to some spa to make him younger, and it works. But they get affected by it too, and they all become teenagers. So it's really funny because they all start to act like teenagers because they are teenagers, and Leela sees it as an opportunity because
she gets to spend time with her parents.
And now she's a teenager, and she knows who her family is. She gets to go live with them. So she goes to them, and the rest of them just enjoy their young lives. But then the professor finds a way to revert them back to their adult selves. But Leela decides not to because she wants to stay. She wants to live our days with her parents, because she never got to before. But but the problem is, like, when the professor puts them in the machine to try and make them older, he actually makes them younger, and they get younger by the minute.
Yeah. It's like Benjamin Button's. Yeah, no, that's a great episode. Isn't it weird though? Because in my last episode that I just talked about, the professor covered himself in stem cells to look younger. Couldn't he just theoretically use that tar again if he wants to be young? Oh wait, no, he doesn't.
He likes being old.
He likes being old. That's right. That was the moral of the story. Just let me be old. Oh, and he also has a pet gargoyle named Professor, you're only going 35 miles per hour. I'm taking my time. Pazuzu. Why is he so... It's so funny hearing him say that word.
Driving goggles, driving thong. Maybe I should drive. You, a woman? I'm trying to catch a monster, not find the quickest route to a mall.
Yeah.
My God, he's gonna do it! Everybody, seatbelts to maximum buckling.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I also like when they become children and the professor goes to pick them up because he finds out that there's something called the Fountain of Aging, so he takes that. And I love how Fry goes, "Yay, Professor's back! Ew, you smell like smoky and drinky." I had a few beers, but I'm cool to drive.
I'm cool. No, that's a great episode. I love how they resolve it at the end when they all have to go back in the... The one part that went a little bit far is when they all end up as fetuses because they took too long.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, hurry! And there's no urgency. They're just like, hurry, put it in the pool.
It won't be birth, it will be death.
It'll be dead pre-birth.
We'll all keep getting younger and younger until we suffer a fate worse than death. Pre-life.
Pre-life.
Then death.
The only thing that doesn't make sense to me is why does Bender age like backwards? He's not a living organism.
It doesn't affect Bender's DNA. It affects his RNA, whatever that is.
Okay.
What would that be?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. But I guess whatever that tar was that affected them, it can also affect
Shouldn't
Bender.
it be R&D, research and development? Not RDA. Whatever. Anyways, okay. That was a great episode, David. Good choice. I'm glad someone picked that one. What's your pick, Cody?
The one that none of your episodes don't even hold a candle up against. This is like the Citizen Kane of the show. Jurassic Bark.
Oh,
you guys gonna tell me that anything is better than Jurassic Bark? This is the best episode of the whole fucking show.
I cannot deny.
I'm a normie when I say that. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you look up any list anywhere on the internet, they say that this episode's the best. Veronica actually said, before I started watching the show, she actually seen quite a bits of the show, and she said, all I remember is this one episode where it involves a dog, and it's really sad. I'm like, okay.
I think that's why I didn't pick it, because I know it's an excellent episode, but it hits you so hard.
Yeah.
So it has such a sad ending too. I still can't remember. Like in the episode, Fry wanted to reanimate Seymour, but why did he change his mind? Because he died when he was like 15 or something.
Well, no, because Bender almost destroyed him.
Right, yeah, because what happens is that Fry finds like the petrified remains of Seymour, his dog that he had back in 1999, and Professor Farnsworth has like the technology to clone him and bring him back. But in the midst of all that, in this episode, you see like the best and worst of Bender. Because on a dime, you hate him because he's so jealous the fact that the Fry's fixation on Seymour is like kind of stealing his thunder. That Bender takes Seymour and throws him into magma, and you instantly hate him. My initial literally reaction was a giant gasp, like a. Yeah. When I first saw this, I'm like, fuck you, Bender. But then on a dime, you feel so bad about it, he actually goes in there and, like, rescues him.
Yeah,
and they're able to get him out.
Destroys himself in the process.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again...
So why does Fry change his mind about the whole thing at the end?
Because they find out that Seymour lived until he was about 15, which is, like, dog years. 100 years to dog years.
That's a pretty good year for
He's like, you know what? If Seymour lived to be that age, why should I bring him back? He probably lived a great life. And, like, a fucking punch in the gut... We see, the whole show we were cutting back. It's like, this is why I like this structure, is we go back and forth again.
Yeah,
kind of like the luck of Friarish.
It was because those 15 years he was waiting for Fry to come back. That's all he did.
Yeah, we see like the buildup of like their love, their chemistry, and like we're just seeing Seymour at the end waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting outside the pizzeria for Fry, and he's not coming back. Oh,
it's so sad. Like
it's
Fry should have brought him back, you know?
Honestly, the first time I saw it, I think my jaw hit the floor, and then Veronica was just kind of like nodding her head, like, "Yep." I'm like, "Holy fuck!" Like I was like shocked from how amazing the writing was in this episode. It was almost too good.
I can't believe the writers made like that. Like Fry should have brought him back, you know?
But
he actually thought.
Well, you do see Seymour a little bit throughout the show, like in little, like, kind of side thing, like in Bender's big score. We see just a little thing of him, yeah.
A little thing. Oh wait, no, that's a joke though. Oh, he shows up in one of my episodes too.
But the second time I watched the episode, I actually was getting a bit like, okay, this kind of hit me a bit. This is sad. It's really hard. Yeah, no, I love when they play with time and emotion in Futurama. That to me is the show, and that's the linchpin, the top
linchpin.
The linchpin.
You said linchpin.
I've said it before. I am tired.
Hey, let's keep going. But no, go ahead. I'm glad you covered.
Put these texts on the screen and be like, Cody words of the night. Oh my god.
Yeah, but no, I'm glad someone covered that episode because I would agree. Yes, it is the best episode of Futurama.
And then the show was quote unquote canceled?
Yes, Fox dropped Futurama.
30th Century Fox.
Oh man, Fox dropped a science fiction show that had so much more to offer. What does that remind me of?
You can take the sky from me.
What show is that?
Firefly.
Oh right.
Yeah, it got canceled.
So we're not talking about the new episodes. We're just. Yeah, so are we moving on to Bender's Big Score?
Yeah, so a little context. Eventually, Comedy Central picked up Futurama.
A little backtrack before there. What? The reruns of seasons 1 to 5 were actually on an Adult Swim.
Yeah, Adult Swim.
And also DVD popularity just sort of grew this cult following and actually like popular demand to bring back the show. So Comedy Central.
Yeah, Comedy Central eventually picked up Futurama. Kind of like what happened to Family Guy, actually.
Exactly.
Very analogous, actually. And ordered the writers to create 4 direct-to-DVD feature-length films.
Which all got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I think
it started great.
Yes. So there was Bender's Big Score, The Beast of a Billion Backs, I believe.
Yes, Beast of a Billion Backs.
Bender's Game and
the Wild Green Yonder,
which was the worst one in my opinion. I hated that one.
Yeah, no, they all got worse and worse.
I didn't mind Bender's Game that much, but it doesn't hold a candle, and I'm glad we all unanimously decided to pick Bender's Big Score as the show.
This should have been the movie, like the Futurama movie, like the one that shows in theaters.
It's the one I can tell they put the most thought into.
We get to full HD format, and the animation looks crisp, and there's a big epic story.
The story, the missions, and the little tattoo that says 0011.
What's the meaning of time doing on Fry's ass? Well, it's bound to be somewhere. They had to put it somewhere, I guess. I love the opening. That just shows it's almost like Serenity in Firefly, where the opening just showcases every single character in a perfect roll call. Cerveza, por favor.
David, do you want to know the exact text that I sent Lyle after I saw this movie?
What?
Fry was Lars? Holy fuck!
Yeah.
I
remember that.
I was literally mind blown. I was actually no, how did I miss this? And then I rewatched it.
It's amazing. More obvious.
It's amazing how many setups and how much obviousness. It's right on the tip of your nose. I was about to say tongue.
I know, and it's funny. Originally, Billy West was worried that if he voiced Lars, it would be too obvious. But
even the design of him, it's I can't believe
it's right in front of us.
But I thought the whole point was that Lars represents the man that that Fry wishes he was to impress Leela. He's sort of like the better Fry, but you wouldn't expect for a second that it's actually Fry.
Yeah.
Let's not get into the plot because it's a little
so
too dense.
Fucking much.
It's dense. It's dense to its time travel, but it does make sense in the end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love the scammer monsters, the little guys. They're just nice try, doo-doo heads.
I can't believe 3 new aliens managed to conquer the entire world by just with.
Yeah, I guess 1,000 years of having computers just made people so illiterate to computer viruses and scams.
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of the joke. It's a mockery of people who actually fall for that crap. But yeah. I don't know. I feel bad. I feel like we could get into it more, but you're right. We can't break down this plot. I had trouble breaking down a single episode, so like this is like
and to
4 episodes.
To me, this is sort of where I lay it to rest, where it's like this was the beginning of like me not enjoying the show as much.
Much like the Simpsons, how there's a very clear decline in quality, like
or Family Guy.
And Family Guy.
That too. Like every show kind of outstays its welcome.
At least this was only two seasons,
roughly.
Maybe?
Yeah,
roughly 2 seasons.
The comedy.
The only thing I liked about the new episodes is that Fry and Leela finally got together. You know.
Yeah. But the Comedy Central era is kind of pales in comparison to the Fox era of the show. That's not to say there's no good episodes, but it kind of gets a little samey after.
To be honest with you, I mean, we'll save my last one for last because it's obviously a good one to leave off on. Mm-hmm. But there was one episode that is so good that I'm surprised that it wasn't in, I guess, the Fox era of the show. The
late Philip J. Fry.
The late Philip J. Fry. Did you see this episode, David?
Which season was this?
Is 7?
Well, then you
think it was 7. Yeah. Oh, it is 7. Yeah. So okay. I guess 7 part 1. I guess. So yeah, because there's like part. Wait, no. Wait, is it set part 1?
What episode? Is it the late Philip J. Fry.
The late Philip J. Fry. That's the one where Oh my God, what's the plot of that again?
Is that the one where like he's late for dates with Leela, but then he and the professor travel through time, like in the future, and then the more distant future.
Yes.
So, right. Yes.
Leela leaves like that note for him in the cave with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
remember that.
That to me is a great one. Okay, I'll just quickly say this. There's not that much episodes that I liked. Okay, like. In season 8, there's like fucking the likewise time episode.
The Clockwork Bender or something?
Yeah, where like the Bender gets like a better hard drive or something, and then
he becomes a god. Yeah,
he becomes a god. I'm like, okay, amusing, cool. But then season 9, I could barely watch it, and I can barely remember it. It was so mediocre.
Yeah, it wasn't a great season.
It was definitely the worst season of the show, and the only one that I could say, like, well, it's at least the more tolerable one, was the one where Zap Brannigan and Leela's mom hook up.
Cody,
and even that's a bad premise, but I had to say
that is my least favorite episode of the entire series.
I don't even know.
And it's your favorite of season 9
because I didn't care about any of the other ones. Oh my God! The fucking season ends off with them doing like a nature Animal Planet fucking thing. Like they've sold out of ideas. I was like, ugh. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the Simpsons meh era.
Yeah, the marathon continues.
The marathon.
I guess I guess since you've talked about your other episodes, you can finish.
Take it away. Like save me for the last episode.
Okay, David, do you want to
take it away? Take it away.
Do you want to take over like the next couple seasons, like just from season 7 to 9?
Do you have any any highlights? Like any?
One of the things I liked about season 7 is that there was an episode where. You know, because like for years, like all the sewer mutants weren't allowed to come to the surface because they're ugly. Like they don't want the ugly.
They're ugly and they smelly and they eat cheese.
Yeah. But like there was an episode in season 7 called "The Mutants Are Revolting," where
I remember that one.
They rebel and like they demand their freedom, and they got their freedom, so they were allowed to come to the surface anytime they wanted.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
What about season 8? Like, what was yours? We're just gonna power through these because I don't have too much to say about these seasons either.
Well, the episode was like Ghosts in the Machines, where Bender actually like he dies and his robot ghost is like trying to haunt Fry.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good one. Yeah, Robot Devil. Oh yeah, we forgot about the Robot Devil. The only cast member to return, well, except for Tress MacNeille, Dan Castellaneta as the Robot Devil.
It's like your play is really on the nose. People just describe how they feel, and that makes me sad.
That makes me angry.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one. What about season 9?
Okay, I like the $60 million Mun, where he's upgrading himself, and like he gets all these like improvements to improve himself, and like he eventually just becomes like he just becomes like a complete robot, except for his brain. But then then Zoidberg tries to take out his brain, and he does a Monster Mash song. Like, Zorba, I don't get it. Why you want to help hurt me so badly? And what's the catchy beat? I'll tell you 2, 3. I was lonesome for my friend a minute ago when a happy thought dispelled my woe, and I thought perhaps he'd be a bit less dull if I sliced up his cyborg skull. He was a brain.
How do you remember all this?
Let's see if he feels pain.
Oh my god.
It might drive him insane. I'm a new brain. It was a robot brain. Wow.
Okay. That's enough. Very good, David. I'm impressed.
It's funny that you said my least favorite episode of the whole show is the one where Bender's a folk singer.
There's 2 episodes of that. Is that the one with Beck or the Lead Belly one?
The Lead Belly.
That's a bad episode.
Yeah.
No. That you can't even put those 2 together.
No.
One's amazing, the other one's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of that episode, and speaking of songs, My Broken Friend slaps like hell. I don't know the words like David knows his, but just trust me, okay?
Well, what are
and don't bother asking me about season 10 because I don't remember.
We're gonna get to season 10 after I go through my recall. So, season 7, I picked Prisoners of Benda. It's just a typical like body switch episode, but I think it's funny because like Leela switches with Amy, and Amy gets Leela really, really fat, and then Fry and Leela have like this big, oh, you only like me because of my looks. And it gets to the point where they both have Professor Hubert and then Zoidberg's body, and they have sex, which is disgusting. But I love Zoidberg as Fry's like, oh, look at me, I got the heat machine. Oh no, the water machine. Oh no, don't worry, I can use the heat machine to dry the water up.
Kind of reminds you of the episode where Bender and Amy get together, or as we call it, robosexuality.
Let's go already! That's where that catchphrase came in.
Mm-hmm.
That died me. That killed me. That died me. Oh my god.
Hey, there we go. Someone's tired now.
Okay, I gotta keep going. And then we have, speaking of Zoidberg, we have another episode called The Tip of the Zoidberg, which is all about, kind of just explains why the professor keeps Zoidberg around. It was like a covert mission they did for Mom a long time ago, where they had to get like some pheromone off of a Yeti. But then the professor got hit by the Yeti, and then he potentially will get a disease, and Zoidberg will have to put him out of his misery if he does. That was actually a pretty great episode. Kind of shows some context. And then the next episode, season 9 was horrible, but this was the one episode where it's like, oh hey, it's a nice science fiction, rigmarole. It's some actor who wears a paper bag over his head. Is actually an alien that feeds off of ego and vanity, so he becomes a celebrity to feed off of his audience. And I thought, this is a really clever idea. It's not an amazing episode, but at least it's different, and I was amused by it. And that brings us to season 10, ladies and gentlemen, the final season. Well, according to Disney+. I guess I can start, and then we'll go with David, and then we'll end off on you, because you're talking about the finale, right?
Yeah, and as much as I was harsh on it, the very last few episodes, there's some where I'm like, hey, that wasn't too bad.
Well, because it has closure now. They have to wrap it up.
The murder on the Planet Express was pretty fun. Like, that's just a bonkers, crazy whodunit.
Yeah, and stenchability. It's nice to see Zoidberg fall in love. David, how about you start this season off? What was your pick for season 10?
One that I don't think I've actually seen, I don't know, I guess the only episode I can actually remember is the last episode, which is Cody's one, so we'll just let him do it.
Okay, well, I'll talk about my episode, because I picked something else. Cody actually turned me on to this episode, because I was originally going to go with Stench and Stenchability, but then he brought up another episode that I actually forgot, and it was actually super good. It's much like Luck of the Friarish. It's Game of Tones. So basically, there's a giant alien ship that's going towards Earth, emanating this evil sound, like. And every time
it's doing the Close Encounters of the Third.
Yeah, but the problem is that every time it makes that sound, every 2 weeks, it breaks the Earth apart, and they're in it's a dire threat, and it's like, the ship will be coming at us in 2 weeks, and Bear's like, that's a slow ass ship. So, Fry is the only one on Earth who actually has any cognitive memory of this sound. So, it's kind of a parody of Inception, I guess, where they go into his mind, and he has to try to remember, the the day where he got frozen, he has to remember exactly what time he heard that tone and what exactly its origin is. Yeah, that's the sound. Yes. Enough. It's the sound that Cody pulled up a sound clip of what the UFO makes. And basically the episode is kind of just a nice wrap-up of how much Fry really misses his family. And it kind of brings up a point I wanted to make. As much as I love Fry as like a humorous character, at the end of the day, he's sort of a tragic figure. He's a man who's lost in time. He doesn't have many roots elsewhere in the year 3000. And while he is certainly happier in this timeline than he was before, there's a lot of things he simply just can't get back, such as his family or Seymour or his old job or anything. Everything's basically gone. Even the stuff he loved from the 90s is essentially something he can't really replicate. So this episode really brings that along home when he really just wants to spend he just wants to sit in his memories, and because it's the closest time he'll ever have with his family as of now. But unfortunately, there's like a earthly crisis on the way, so he has to do something about it. And it turns out the whole point of the sound was it was all Nibbler's fault, because he and his accomplice, after they trapped Fry in the cryogenic chamber, they got drunk, lost the company car that they used. They take a cab back, and his partner, his chauffeur, not concierge, his chauffeur is emitting this sound because I guess it's a tracking beacon for the damn ship. And I hate that. I don't really like the last few minutes with Nibbler, because it's just like, so you mean to tell me you've been using this sound and you've been willingly destroying planets just to find some car? I mean, god damn it. I hate you little things. But they find the car, and in return, Nibbler allows Fry to transmit. It's kind of like what's the thing Luke Skywalker did at the end of Last Jedi? Transcendental transportation. Transcendence or whatever. He basically transports Fry into one of his mother's dreams from the past, and he basically gets to have like one last heart-to-heart with her after like he was frozen. And I thought that was an incredibly beautiful moment. And it's wonderful how the show was able to turn. At first, you don't really like Fry's family because they're kind of stodgy and dismissive, and they don't really treat Fry all that well. But the longer you learn more about them, it's like, well, they do love him, but just in their own way. And that's something the episode did beautifully. And it's an episode that always kind of hits me. Not as much as like Luck of the Fryrish or Jurassic Park. Yes, that was on the tip of my tongue. But it's still a great episode, especially this late in the game, so at least the writers still had something. And that leads into the final note the show ended on.
Meanwhile.
Yes.
Meanwhile.
I mean, guys, their very first scene, they land on the moon and Fry says, "Hey, Leela, remember that this was our first mission?" Instantly, I'm like, this is going to be a good finale. Because I'm just like, yes. At the ending, you always reflect back at the very beginning. That's what you always do. The hero's journey, Joseph Campbell. Look it up. So essentially what this is about is Fry, the whole show, and especially this is like his final straw. He's like, I really need to tell Leela how I feel. So I'm going to propose to her. And meanwhile, Farnsworth invented this little device that... Okay, we should probably talk about Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say one thing before you... Okay. One of the episodes I think before was the episode where the mutants tried to fight for their rights and finally got to go back. Finally got to be on the surface. One of the fun facts about that episode, it's actually the 100th episode of the series.
Oh,
I know that because like in the episode it's supposed to be their 100th delivery.
Oh yes,
yeah,
and they actually they reference they're like, well, Bender's like, well, Fry, you probably said I love Leela 140 times in the past 13 years. Yeah, like, there's a lot of meta humor in it too.
Yeah.
And then Farnsworth makes a device that reminded me of an episode of Rick and Morty where the second you press the button, it starts the time and you can go as far as you want, like 10 seconds later, a minute later. And when you is it 10 seconds actually?
I think as soon as you hit it, you go back 10 seconds.
Yeah, there's a Rick and Morty that reminded me of this, but we'll get to that later. But anyways, but in order for the universe to still remember that time, they have to get inside this little pod. and they're okay. They're kind of in the safe zone where they can still remember time before it resets.
They're not affected by it.
They're not affected by it. So when Fry says to Leela, I want to propose to you and meet me on top of the Vampire State Building.
Which I can't believe they never used that pun before. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
And Leela doesn't show up, so Fry thinks, I'm going to end it all. I have nothing to live for. And as he's jumping, he sees Leela coming towards the building, and he realizes, wait a minute, I've been using this time thing so many times, my watch is a little bit off. But wait, I can just go back 10 seconds. Before I jump off, but oh no, he's just going down 10 seconds.
In a perpetual loop.
He's in a loop of him just falling and falling. You have to hear that Leela reaction, Fry, over and over and over again, and finally the crew gets to Leela. And how does the remote end up to Leela again?
I think Fry dies or something, and she has it.
Yes, yeah. Okay, at first you're just like, oh my god, okay, it's so funny the amount of times he just splats on the ground.
So gory.
But Farnsworth set up that if we end up actually being inside of this time zone, then we're going to be like split into like so many atoms within the time, which is what happened to Farnsworth actually. Like he, I guess, dies at this point. We don't know what the fuck happened, right? And then when they eventually save Fry, thanks to Bender and his kind of parachute balloon thing. I don't know. It's like a balloon thing. They accidentally destroy the machine, and Leela and Fry are in the only time, like I guess in the vicinity of the time thing, but it freezes the whole universe, and Fry and Leela spend an entire lifetime together.
Yes.
Bittersweet at its finest. Like that's
how does it end?
And how it ends is Farnsworth shows up again. He's like, He's an
atom, yeah.
He's an atom. I've just been trying to find you sometime between yesterday and tomorrow, as he says. He shows up to when Fry and Leela are sharing, like, I guess their last final moments when they're, like, elderly. Because they spent such a nice lifetime together. He says, well, we can now go back to the very beginning. And Fry just says, what do you say, Leela? One more round? Sure. And then it just goes to white. And you're like, nice.
Wait, so do they just go back to the very beginning when they all first met?
That's what I think too.
I feel like maybe they just rerouted back to the time where the world froze and they just like go and spend their life together again.
But not only that, it's a great indication to go back and rewatch the show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a loop.
Start again.
You could.
And I just say leave it at that. That was a great ending. It's definitely something that emotionally paid off something. Like, you know, like, really I was trying to think how the hell would you end the show? And that one episode in season 5 that ended it with the play, with the devil, the idle hands.
Oh, the idle hands make devil's work. That's an excellent episode.
Great episode. Has a good ending with the, no, Fry, keep on playing. It's bittersweet and it's nice, but it didn't have the enough emotional resonance that Meanwhile had. So I'm happy with Meanwhile. And, just as a little bonus, Simpsons Rama. Or Simpson-Rama.
The Simpsons crossover, which I watched yesterday just to prepare for this episode.
What did you think?
Well, it is. Well, one reason why I like it better than the Family Guy crossover is that I think Futurama and Simpsons humor meshes better.
It's in the mind of Matt Groening.
Yeah. It's not like when Family Guy just like makes edgy humor. It just doesn't blend well at all with the Simpsons universe.
Well, it seemed just too much of a love letter for the golden era of the Simpsons, and then it's just Family Guy's interpretation of what the Simpsons is about.
Yeah, you know, and it's a nice episode. Some characters don't get as much to do. Like Fry's kind of just there, and so is Leela. But like Bender and Homer spent a great deal of time together.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see. They have an explanation as to how they managed to intersperse. And as soon as I was like, "Hello, children, we are building a time capsule today," I'm like, 1,000 years, something's gonna happen. I just know it.
Did you see this episode, David?
The episode with the Simpsons and Futurama crossover?
Yeah,
I think I did see that.
Yeah. It was not bad. It was season 26 of the show, so I kind of jumped ahead a bit, but...
I like how even, like, the creatures that end up attacking the New York, it's just the rabbits that, from Life and Hell, the first thing Matt Groening ever created.
Sounds like you're talking about the rabbits from Raymond.
You motherfucker. Anyways.
I stole your line again, didn't I?
David, you son of a bitch. Anyways, yes, the rabbits that Matt Groening created, and it's funny because he wanted to preserve that idea, and that's why he made The Simpsons as a replacement idea, and then it blew up, and he never went back to the rabbits again. So it's like all three of his creations, well, not counting Disenchantment, but all three of his first creations just blend together in this episode. And we get to see Farnsworth and Frink stand together side by side and have the same glasses.
The glasses, I did not even realize that until that episode. And now I know it looks so eerily familiar. It's so funny. It was strange seeing them all in the same room. It was cool but strange at the same time.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
I love how like all the monsters turn into like evil Bart gremlins, and Homer just does the most sensible thing, just snaps their necks like, "Why you little? Why you little? Why you little?" Can we go to Mount Splashmore? Can we go to Mount Splashmore?
No.
Oh.
If I say yes, will you just stop bugging me?
I love that episode. Will you take us to Mount Splashmore?
No.
Will you take us to Mount Splashmore?
Guys, please. This is not. We're not. No more, so to speak, Simpsons.
Simpsons is that powerful. It comes back.
I love
No.
But is this take us to our final thoughts?
I have a question, guys.
Yes.
And it's getting hot in here, and I have to take something, a hot take, if you will. And Cody, I think you're with me on this. As a show, I think I actually prefer Futurama over The Simpsons. In some way. I think it works better as a show.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm phrasing this wrong, but I just think it's constructed a little tighter than The Simpsons. I'm not saying it's funnier, and I'm not saying it's more quotable, but the things that work in it work on a completely different level than The Simpsons. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like there's this continuity between the entire show that if you watch from beginning to end, it rewards you.
Yeah.
Unlike The Simpsons, where it doesn't really have any forward momentum, it almost feels like it's stuck in a bubble, where the characters don't age and nothing really changes all that often. Sometimes a character dies once in a while, but it's very few and far between when you actually have milestones throughout the series. And another reason I think I like Futurama is that it actually knew when to stop.
Yes.
And that's a major plus, because it didn't... I see comments where it's like, why did Futurama have to be canceled? I'm like, it didn't cancel. It knew when to quit. It knew when to hang its boots. And I think it helps the show in the long run because it had a resolution.
I agree that there are definitely aspects that are better in Futurama than The Simpsons. Futurama definitely has character continuity, knowing how to be kind of more concise. And
it has a lot of imaginative setups.
Has imaginative ideas and just like lore almost. I would say, like, I know, it's kind of like ahead of its time in that sort of respect. Like I said, there's a lot of background humor. There's a lot of episodes that just feel so like wacky, zany, and creative, but also they don't forget about emotion with the characters.
Yes,
that's what Simpsons kind of lacks sometimes. It's not as iconic as The Simpsons, but. Okay, I kind of want to get to this. This is what I've been itching to tell you, actually.
Tell me.
It is a shame that I didn't watch this when I was younger, like David. Like, David probably grew up with this, like, the same way we grew up with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Well, it all kind of started for me, like, many years ago in summertime when I was at camp, and, like, there was that, and Family Guy when I first started getting into it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish I had that, because back then, my mom, David, you might get a kick out of this. So my mom had this 4-volume DVD called The Best of Friends. It was the show Friends, but it was like a few dozen best episodes of the show.
David's a massive fan of
Friends.
Yeah. He'll get something out of this.
Because it was episodes. It was a handful of episodes, like 24 of them on this 4 DVD box set that spanned from like seasons 1 to 5, I think.
Shows don't really do that anymore, do they?
My mom's got all 10 seasons in DVD.
And it had, like the one where everybody finds out, the one with the box, all these great episodes. I'd never seen Friends before. That was my introduction, was watching like the best of the show, right? Mm-hmm. And after I was like, you know what? I got the gist of the show. I really like this. And when I finally did sit down and watch all 10 seasons, I kind of felt there's a lot of filler. I'm happy that with the introduction that I had. Same thing with South Park. South Park had this DVD. Show the pictures up on the screen, or I'll show it to you.
Okay.
This had
Blame
like,
Canada! Blame Canada!
it's called South Park Volume 1, and it was all the hits from, like, both the fans and Trey Parker and Matt Stone's favorites.
Oh, wow.
And I had that. I own that, and I watched all those episodes all the time, and those were some of the best. And finally, when I watched a good handful of the show, like, there's definitely a lot of good stuff, but the problem is I watched such the bulk and the best highlights of the show that I was sort of, like, redundant. So with that basis, I really wish that I watched Futurama back then with that sort of, like, greatest hits compilation. This show feels like you could watch probably, like, 30 to 40 episodes worth of great ones and then just be done with it. Just be gone.
It would be interesting to compile a list of all the greatest episodes
We should just do that. Make a custom playlist of Futurama. Starting with, obviously, Space Pilot 3000.
Yeah, you have to have the pilot.
And,
if you miss that, you're missing the show.
end it all with Meanwhile, and just in between that, show the best of the best.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Because I am so fucking done with binging sitcoms. I did it during quarantine. This is what fucking ruined sitcoms for me. I binged Seinfeld. I binged Curb Your Enthusiasm. I binged Community. I almost binged oh my god,
Walking Dead.
No. Parks and Rec.
Oh. Wait, Walking Dead. How's that?
Before the pandemic, I watched all of The Office, and I have to say, like, there's a lot of filler in a lot of sitcoms.
Well, they can't all be great.
I know, but they should. But they should be. Goddammit.
Cody,
yeah.
Did you binge watch Modern Family?
No, I haven't seen Modern Family actually.
Me neither.
But that's the thing. I'd rather
on Netflix if you were wondering.
I'd rather some fan of any sitcom sit me down and show me like 5 episodes that are the best and just warm me up and see if this will be good for me. Because I'm declaring my resignation, ladies and gentlemen. I've mentioned before that I want to watch all 30 seasons of The Simpsons. I quit!
I don't blame you.
I quit! I made it halfway up to season 21. Fuck it. I quit.
Yeah, you didn't even show up for a, like, third part.
I don't want to quit. I don't want to hate The Simpsons. I quit. I quit.
There's a couple
episodes. Sure. Show me these episodes in between seasons 20 to 30, whatever. I'm done binging fucking sitcoms. And Futurama, that's the last one.
Hey, Cody, are you a Marvel or DC fan at all?
Yeah,
okay. Well, you can always binge watch action shows like Arrow and The Flash.
We just had this discussion right before this podcast.
David,
I said you'll never get me to watch any of those DC or Marvel shows ever.
Yeah.
That's
David loves those shows.
I feel like
that's fine. That's totally fine.
Other than Assad, I'm actually the only person in this whole group that's seen the Marvel Netflix shows and the Arrow shows, like Arrow and The Flash.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with the Netflix shows with Marvel, like, I love Daredevil season 1. Wasn't crazy about Daredevil season 2, and then I had to watch Jessica Jones, which I didn't like either. And then Luke Cage came in, but then it's like, oh, you have to watch Jessica Jones and all the others to get into Luke Cage. And you have to watch Iron Fist, but you gotta get... Like, it was too interconnected to the point where if I didn't watch everything, I'd be missing out. And then Defenders came out, and I was like, well, I've only seen 1/4 of the show, so what?
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of true.
Like, it was just too much of a jigsaw puzzle, and it didn't feel like I could just jump in at any point, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
to be honest, I don't remember every single part of all the shows either.
And I think the MCU is going to have that problem, too, where because I'm losing interest, if I, like, let's say I skip Black Widow or maybe I'm going to see Shang-Chi with you guys, but let's say I skip, I don't know, Eternals or something. If I don't watch those, will I miss crucial information that will lead up to other movies that I actually
will.
Like, let's
Case
say,
in point, you will.
What if I want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I didn't watch anything else?
You gotta watch Thor 4.
Thor 4.
Anyways, guys, remember Futurama?
Yeah, it was great.
I'm sorry.
It was
I'm
great.
sorry. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but like I loved that it had a Simpsons feel with the comedy. I loved the adventures. I loved the characters, and for the whole span of the run of the show, I enjoyed it mostly.
Yeah, no. If you want
and
to
as strict as mostly, I mostly enjoyed it. It is a solid ass show.
So with you, would it just be like seasons 1 to 5, Bender's Big Score, and then Meanwhile?
Oh no! I'd say maybe like a good tiny little handful of episodes between seasons 7 to 10.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But also a good handful of seasons 1 to 5 plus the Bender's Big Score. Yeah, no, I'd like to read and watch those someday. Like that, I had a nice time watching it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised not too many of our friends are into Futurama, despite all of us being huge Simpsons fans.
As a kid, for some reason, I know the theme song. I knew what it was. For some reason, it just didn't appeal to me. But then years later, when I gained a little bit more appreciation for the sci-fi genre, and then falling in love with like Rick and Morty, I can definitely now. Like, Rick and Morty is just a combination of, like, Futurama and
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, kind of like a lot of humor from, like, I think if it wasn't for those reruns of Futurama on Adult Swim, there probably wouldn't be no Rick and Morty.
There should be a crossover Rick and Morty and Futurama.
No. Let's lay Futurama to rest. Let's lay that to rest.
I feel like Rick and Morty's just gonna rip holes into it all.
Rick and Morty's doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you bring up the theme song to Futurama. We didn't mention it. I think it's such a bop. It's basically Louie with laser beams.
And bells.
That's funny. I actually didn't know this. It's actually inspired by a song from the 60s called Psyche Rock by Pierre Henry.
Yeah, I watched. I saw the link you sent us.
Yeah, that's a pretty good song.
That is cool. Yeah,
I didn't know that, and it's funny. There's this one map on Overwatch. I think it's El Dorado or something. There's bells on the tower, and if you hit the bells just right, you can actually play the Futurama theme on there.
Oh, cool!
You just shoot the bells like bing, 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 bing.
That's cool.
I feel like Overwatch and Fortnite are basically the same thing.
They're not. Maybe the same level of popularity, but they're not.
Okay.
But good enough. So is that everyone's final thoughts? Basically, David, do you have any final thoughts on Futurama?
No, I think we mentioned everything we need to.
All right. Well, let's cheese it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode, so to speak. It's
Glad
been a
to
ride.
be here. Glad to have been here.
And if you don't have any soda, drink some Slurm.
Oh, yeah.
Drunka, lunka, flockily goo.
Nice. What do you guys think Slurm tastes like? Just out of curiosity.
Probably
the the slime stuff that comes out of slugs' backs like when they crawl. Probably that mixed with the soda water.
It's probably Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
But pure sugar.
I'm just thinking it's just a shitty version of Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew wasn't so great to begin with. Anyways, enough speaking about soda. Let's go to bed. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Night.